the Comedy Crossword Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of One Down, the Comedy Cross.
Whoa, Brendan. I believe the way that we've always done it is the person who does better on the week's crossword puzzles gets to introduce the podcast.
I mean, we've never discussed that.
We've always done it that way, right?
Yeah, because I've always done better.
Until this week. I went 7 for 7, Brendan, as we call it on this podcast, clean. How about you?
You know very well that I went 6 for 7. I was busted out on a Sunday by one letter. You know that. I don't know why you're rubbing it in my... Go ahead.
The listeners don't know, you know. Hi, guys. Welcome to One Down, the Comedy Crossword Podcast. My name is Greg Warren. They call me 7 for 7. I'm joined by my co-host, Brendan Eyre. They call him 6 out of 7.
Who calls me that?
Well, I mean, a lot of people are saying it. This is for all the Wednesday Warren talk that you started years ago.
You think one clean week's going to erase years of an ingrained nickname, Wednesday Warren? You think you're going to shove 7 for 7 down the people's throats? That doesn't even roll off the tongue.
Well, I don't know what my nickname is, but I know this week I went for 7 for 7 and you went 6 for 7, and it makes me very happy, Brendan.
I'm happy for you. I'm mad at myself because we almost missed the double triumph, which we've yet to achieve the double 7 for 7, and I blew it. I'll take full responsibility. This was the week to do it, and
Brendan,
I blew it for you.
Are you familiar with the baseball player Brad Lidge?
I am, yeah.
So Brad Lidge was, I think it was during the 2005 season, he was unhittable. Nobody could touch him. He was a closer. Nobody could touch him, okay? He was the best reliever in baseball. And then in the National League Championship Series, I believe it was Game 6, maybe Game 5, Albert Pujols hit a home run off of him that went really far and won the game for the Cardinals. And for a year after that, Brad Lidge was not good at all. He was terrible.
Right. Yeah.
And then he did actually return to form and won a World Series with the Phillies and was very good. And I like Brad Lidge. But I was just wondering if you think maybe that would happen to you. You know, you were dominant, and then you had this mishap this week, and I wonder if maybe it's. Are
you honestly doing this, Greg? You know that I'm mentally fragile. You know, as a high school kicker, I was dominant. I could hit from 55 yards, and then I missed one extra point, super wide right, and never made an extra point or field goal again in my career. You know I got the yips, and you're going to bring up the yips and say now I might have the crossword yips? I'm prone to the yips, man.
You know, I'm just asking questions here, man. I'm not making any accusations.
Yeah, somebody asked Lidge a question. Hey, do you think that home run's going to affect your further performance? And he, before someone asked that, he didn't even consider it.
From what I remember about that story, they were flying from Houston to St. Louis, and Brad Ausmus, the catcher, got on the speaker of the airplane and said, "Hey, if you guys all look out your right window, you can see that ball that Pujols that's still traveling."
The worst part about my yips was, so obviously they benched me. You can't have a kicker who misses every extra point. They replaced me with with one of the linemen who kicked with his toe and never missed. But my dad wouldn't let me quit the football team, so I was just a guy who stood on the sidelines as a unusable, yipped up kicker, standing there, not even part of the team. I couldn't even take pride in a win because I was.
What's the name of that lineman? Do you remember?
I do actually. David Woods, because he played soccer when he was a kid. David Woods was they replaced me with David Woods.
Well, I just got an email. He went 7 for 7 this week. Woods did.
Good. Hire him, Greg. Go ahead and hire him for the podcast.
He's pretty funny too. He's really funny.
He is actually funny. So this is not good. Now I do have an announcement, Greg. I have an announcement.
Okay.
Other than the announcement that I am legally obligated to make, that Greg, for this week alone, not overall, is the superior crosswordsman. I will announce it. I will admit it. For this week, Greg is the superior crosswordsman. But my big announcement is, and I want to put it on record for you, because you like to claim I have a habit of not following through on things, which I don't know where you get that from.
Well, I mean, you didn't complete the Sunday puzzle.
Man, I've got a feeling this is not the last time this will come up, this episode. But I have become interested in crossword creating, because as I've been looking up more of the authors, it's something that appeals to me. It's going to take some time to learn, but my goal is to create a crossword puzzle and submit it to the New York Times, and I think that will be a fun thing to track on this podcast. Yeah, I'm going to have to start with little one.
You heard it here, folks. First, right here, Brendan Eyre, cruciverbalist. I'm impressed. Now, are you going to, what day are you going to submit?
This is what I would like to do, because I think the day with the most variance in quality is Thursday, right? You get junk Thursdays.
You can't start with a Thursday. You're going to submit a Thursday?
Yeah, I'm submitting a Thursday, and I didn't want to get locked into that, but now I am. So, because you get junk Thursdays and you get amazing Thursdays.
There's tricks on the Thursdays, man. A lot of tricks.
I'm a trick man. I love tricks.
I think you're biting off a little more than you can chew here. You're gonna do a Thursday?
Have you ever seen me chew?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, I could really
eat a lot of meals together. I mean, you've yet to pay for one, but we've eaten quite a few meals together.
We're not having that argument again. We're not having that argument again. Let's take a look at.
Hey, man, I'm proud of you. I think that's great. I anything I can do to help, man. I want to be part of that, man. I think. Well,
awesome. we could submit it as a duel. I will, like your joke about the Christmas presents. I will be submitting it. I want it to say what percentage of each guy contributed. So I'm going to submit it. Thursday puzzle to Will Shorts, Brendan Eyre, 87% of the work. Greg Warren, 13%.
It's fine. They don't do that on. They don't do that on any of these. Shorts doesn't say when it's a. There's on this week we have a lot of joint puzzles, joint projects, and they just list their two names. They don't put the percentages on there.
Yep, these guys are not nearly as petty as I am, is what I think is happening. But let's take a look.
What if I happen to do more work than you do?
What if you do more work than I do?
Yeah, what if we do this puzzle together and I happen to do way more work than you?
Great. Then we'll still do the percentage thing, because that's not happening. Monday, July 27th. This was an Alan Arbsfeld. Of course, we're familiar with Alan. Basically, I thought this, even for a Monday, Greg, this was a weak theme. The theme was basically high. You just had a bunch of words with high in it. Hiking gear, haiku poem, high end, hi ho, Heidi Klum, hybrid cars. Even for a Monday, man, that's a little weak, I think.
Well, I just realized there was a theme, and that happens a lot on Mondays to me. I didn't even get it until now. I did 41 across. The answer is hi ho. It's what the Seven Dwarves sing on their way to work. I had no idea it was spelled like that.
Yeah, Heigh, like sleigh. I didn't either.
It looks like they were going to spell sleigh ho, which now sleigh hoes back in the early days of the Iditarod had it rough. It's the world's oldest profession, and it was an unenviable position, and they have the Iditarod has phased that out. But
that's great to hear, man.
Yeah.
That they've cleaned up their act. They've cleaned
up
a
their
lot
act.
of
There are
blood
no more
doping,
sleigh hose.
but
There's no more sleigh hose. Yeah.
They've got rid of the sleigh hose. I think good to hear. Good for those ladies. They've moved up. Are you big? Do you follow the Iditarod?
No, but I think I may start to. Yeah.
I lost $12,000 betting on the Iditarod last year.
You're betting the Iditarod?
You got to, man. I thought I had a sure thing. One of the dogs got a burr in his paw, and it cost me $12,000.
$12,000, man.
I had a tip. I had an inside tip. I used to work up there in Alaska. I had a guy who knew a dog, and I thought we had this thing.
One of the guys in the salmon canning factory?
Yeah, and I should have known because those guys were always making fun of me. I should have known.
They never liked you in the first place, man.
Yeah.
I could have told you not to trust one of those guys. 37 across, Tony, the Frosted Flakes mascot. And the answer is a tiger. And, wait a minute. I'm sorry. What am I doing wrong here?
A lot, I think. I'm not sure. I'll talk while you figure it out. I want to talk about 46 across.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You don't have to talk anymore. Nobody wants to hear you. You did worse than I did.
Good. It ended. Talking ended. Go for Greg.
Tony, the Frosted Flakes mascot, EG example, and of course the answer is tiger. And, it hit me during this puzzle. I'm 51. I've got to be 52 at the end of the month. And I never realized, how he goes, they're great, right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize, grrr, that's a sound that a tiger makes.
Do you know when I realized that?
When?
Midway through your sentence. As soon as you said there's something you didn't realize, I was like, what could... Oh, grrr!
Yeah, grrr. Yeah. I feel like maybe I would have done better as a kid in a lot of stuff had I known that.
I just assumed he loved him, I mean, he does love him, but it never occurred to me. I just thought that's how he loves him so much. He's got to say great for 4 seconds.
Yeah, he just likes to say it longer. Yeah.
That's what I do that. That's how you emphasize things. Like Greg is really annoying me on today's podcast. 46 across, gratuity. That's tip, of course.
Brendan couldn't get the Sunday.
Gratuity, that's tip, of course. My favorite tipping story, my buddy Greg Stone, a great comedian, before he was a comic, he worked in a hospital. He worked in the ER as sort of an assistant in New Jersey, and it was a largely Italian area. And he told me that many of the Italians that would come in just had a big problem with the fact that doctors would not accept tips. He said literally a guy would be in surgery and like his uncle would try and slip the nurse a 50 on her way in. Like I think
keep it even. Huh?
Yeah. Hey, give him the good stuff in there. You know what I mean? Like as if the doctor was looking up from the surgical incision, going, Did anyone tip or not? Because I got to know before I cut this aorta.
Hey, Doc, keep it fair in there, huh?
Yeah. Hey, it's a little something, just between me and you.
Yeah. That's great, man.
Yeah.
Greg Stone, very funny comedian. If you don't know about him, you should check him out. He's got a podcast with Anthony DeVito and some other idiot.
Me. We have a podcast on this very same network called the Rad Dudecast, which you're free to check out if you care for it. But I thought that was a funny story.
9 down. Brendan, this is one of several Monday clues of the week. And, of course, Brendan, tell them what the Monday clues of the week are.
The Monday clues of the week are the Mondayest of the Mondayest. They don't necessarily always fall on a Monday, but they are the simplest clues. They could basically be in the back of a Delta in-flight magazine crossword puzzle.
What things do in quicksand? Brendan, they sink. That's what they do in quicksand. They sink. Things happen to sink in quicksand. They do.
That is definitely a Monday. They don't do calisthenics.
No, they don't.
Quicksand.
No, they don't. They don't float. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, because I was thinking about this clue. I don't know if you had this experience as a child. I think because of cartoons and maybe like comic books, I didn't read a ton of comic books, but I think mostly because of cartoons, I really believed quicksand was going to be a much bigger issue in my life than it's turned out to be.
Yeah, man. Yeah, if you watched a lot of cartoons as a kid, you thought, well, I'm gonna run into this thing quite a bit in life. Yeah, it's just a thing you got to deal with.
Yeah. I was walking around with a stick poking the ground in front of me going, there's quicksand everywhere. I mean, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
I've never seen it, out of television. I've never seen it just walking around.
No, I've been in like some mud, but it seemed to stop. It didn't seem to just suck me down till I was dead.
That is an excellent point. I thought I would encounter more anvils. I watched a lot of Roadrunner when I was a kid. I've never seen an anvil.
Never. I saw one anvil. We went to a historical village in elementary school on a field trip. That was the only anvil I've ever seen. And Greg, it was in no danger of falling on anyone's head. In fact, it was so heavy, I don't think that was even possible.
I'll tell you one thing, Brendan. You ever put one of those anvils in quicksand? Right to the bottom. Right to the bottom.
The other thing I found out, I asked a doctor friend of mine this, Greg. If someone drops an anvil off a cliff onto your head, it turns out you don't just turn into an accordion and spring around for a little while. It actually just horrifically kills you. So keep that in mind. That's important.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you know that doctor friend of yours. That's great.
Yeah.
59 down. Vows exchanged at the altars. Vows exchanged at the altar. That is I do's. And Brendan, I'm going to put that in the Bonefish Grill. Most often used crossword words. That is I do's. They've been going to I do or I do's quite a bit lately. Quite a bit.
Firmly seconded, and that's kind of a newer one, I think, and they've been hitting it hard. They have been coming to that well quite a bit, and for those of you that don't know, the Bonefish Grill Crossword Word Hall of Fame is a Hall of Fame curated by Greg and myself. We do not keep records of what words are in there or not in there. We're hoping a fan will start doing that at some point. These are just the most commonly used crosswords crossword words according to our general observations. Now, the most important thing that needs to be mentioned is we have no official, legal, or any affiliation whatsoever with the Bonefish Grill. We just like to eat there, and we're hoping this could lead to something.
Yeah, we're hoping. So far it hadn't, but I mean it's still early in the game. We're on episode 19 or 20 or something. I mean we're I sort of targeted right around episode 40 what we were going to get a full big time sponsorship from Bonefish Grill, and then I thought around episode 80 we're going to actually get a franchise. You and I are going to get a restaurant, and
Well, I hope so, because Greg, I haven't told you this, but I've got an anvil with a rope tied to it, rigged up to the roof of my house, and I've made a pact with myself that if we don't get a Bonefish Grill sponsorship by episode 40, that thing's coming down on my head. And that was before I asked about the accordion thing. I thought I would do the accordion thing, but it turns out
now it's serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're not just going to be an accordion. You'll be dead. The thing, could you try to get that crossword puzzle that you're making done by then?
Yeah. That will seal the deal with Bonefish, hopefully. Now, 27 across, AOL Alternative. This was MSN, Microsoft Network. I remember, Greg, this got me thinking about the origins of the internet and everything. I remember my very first encounter with the internet was in third grade. So this would have been 1990. This would have predated AOL, MSN, any of that. And the librarian gathered all the third graders together in front of a computer and said, what would you like to say to another class of third graders? And, we all kind of had some input, and we decided we would say hello. And she typed in hello. And about 7 to 9 minutes later, hello popped back up on the screen. And she turned around like it was a magic trick and goes, that was from a third grade classroom in Indiana. And I remember even as a third grader going, well, this thing's never going to catch on. I mean, come on. That took 9 minutes. We could have called them. This is what are you trying to show us here, lady? I don't even know. There's no proof that was them. I was wrong. The internet actually did catch on. I did not quite realize what the potential was. She was onto something, it turned out.
Yeah, the internet did catch on, and it's for one, it does. It brings people this podcast, which is a good thing. But there's also YouTube commenters, so it evens out a little bit.
That you know what? That's what I told her. I said, this is going to go down a bad road. I said, right back, your neck looks fat in that video.
Let's go to Tuesday, man.
All right, man. Tuesday, July 28th. This was a Ross Trudeau. Greg, very interesting.
Trudeau!
Yeah, our main man, Trudeau.
One of the
mainstays. Very interesting fact. My brother's in town this week, and my brother knows a lot of random trivia. He likes crosswords. He doesn't do them every day. He's super fast on like the Mondays and Tuesdays, really fast. But he also just has a lot of random trivia. And I was telling him how cool it was that Rod from Michigan made that spreadsheet for us of every crossword author. And I was telling him the top ones, and I was saying how Ross Trudeau goes up there so much. And he goes, oh, yeah, did you know that's Jane Pauley's son?
Really?
Yeah, so the news anchor, Jane Pauley, is Ross Trudeau's mother. Then I look it up. His father is Gary Trudeau, the guy who created Doonesbury.
Yeah, brilliant guy. My mom was a huge fan of Doonesbury, and a huge fan of the New York Times crossword puzzle, actually.
Yeah, so that was pretty interesting, I thought.
Fascinating.
Two prolific parents.
Do you think bringing that up bothers Trudeau? Because, I mean, the guy's in his own right, he's one of the top cruciverbalists in the country, maybe in the world, probably in the world, and he's made a name for himself. And now you're bringing up Jane Pauley and Gary Trudeau. Do you think he's would rather people didn't know that?
Probably, yeah. I think it's a bit of trivia that our listeners will enjoy, but he probably wants to walk his own path, and I want to make it clear. I think I should speak directly to Mr. Trudeau right now and say I brought that up because I think it's interesting to our listeners, but I want you to know that your work in my life has made just as much of an impact as Doonesbury or Jane Pauley, both wonderful creations and wonderful broadcaster. But your work, Mr. Trudeau, has benefited me just as much, and you have walked your own path and you have made your own way.
Definitely more for me. More.
Yeah.
I mean, I do remember watching a lot of Jane Pauley when I was younger. She was one of the national newscasters, I believe, and there wasn't cable for a period of time, and so you saw her quite a bit. And I didn't read a ton of Doonesbury. I was probably a little young for it, but I've done a lot of Ross Trudeau's puzzles, and they're good. And this one, this is good time to talk about the theme. This was, I thought, a very, very cool theme, Brendan.
It was called Web of Lies, and essentially there was a bunch of shaded areas that created sort of what looked like a web of across and down, and within those shaded areas were synonyms for lies. Essentially, you had fable, falsehood, libel, fiction, etc. He created a physical web of lies with words, which I thought was pretty neat. Actually, a great theme for a Tuesday.
11 down, Brendan. We have another Monday clue of the week. 11 down. Kit blank, and then they give you a little hint. It's a bar, Brendan. That is a Kit Kat bar, not a kitten caboodle bar,
not a kitten bar,
not a kitten bar. Yeah, that is a Kit Kat bar.
Definitely seconded. And let me ask you a question. What do you think happens there? Do you think Trudeau turns in the puzzle with Kit blank and Shorts steps in and says, nah, we got to put parentheses.
Got to give them a little more here. Got to give them a little more. They're not going to get that.
Yeah, because I can't imagine your first thought would be, I've got to let them know I mean the bar, rather than any other Kit blank 3 letters.
Yeah. Now, usually, I believe when they get a KAT in there, the clue is crazy with a K blank.
Right. Yes, there's really only 2 options for KAT: Crazy Cat and Kit Kat.
Yeah. There's probably some famous woman with the first name Cat, right?
Oh yes, Kat Dennings. You could do a Kat Dennings. Yes. Yeah, you're right. 51 across, fish with long jaws. That's a gar. And a gar, I don't know if you've ever seen a gar. It's kind of like it resembles a bit like a pike, but kind of more ferocious looking.
I've seen them in aquariums.
Yeah, they're pretty gnarly looking fish. They look dangerous, and there's a very large variety called an alligator gar, which if you're listening, Google a picture of them. They're pretty frightening, actually. And the government went on this big kick, I think, in the 50s and 60s, thinking that alligator gar were responsible for attacks on humans and were an invasive species, and they basically were just encouraging people to kill them. And then this guy did a study on it and was basically found out, no, they eat fish. They've been here the whole time and they just eat fish. You're just You're just afraid because they're dangerous looking.
Yeah.
And now you've almost killed all the gar. And so they had to backpedal real fast and be like, nobody kill an alligator gar. There's only about 7 left. Leave the alligator gar alone. It turns out we were wrong. We judged them by their looks. They're fine.
Even in the animal kingdom, the ugly just do not get a break. Yeah.
No.
I mean, they just don't. I mean, well, every now and then in Hollywood, you need sort of a severe-looking human being, and there's roles for that type. But yeah, it's
that guy that got the nail in his head in Billy Madison, in Happy Gilmore.
Oh yeah, I know that guy. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. That
he
guy.
really made a living. I think he was the guy with the metal teeth in James Bond.
James Bond. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. And I probably not a bad looking guy, just a severe looking guy, actually.
No, he was. I'm gonna, and I think he died somewhat recently, and I don't want to. I think he was a fantastic actor and really a great character, but he was a bad looking guy, Greg. I think it's safe to say he a bad looking guy.
To each his own, Brendan. To each his own. 22 across, muscle man of the A-team. Muscle man of the A-team. Who's that, Brendan?
That's got to be Mr. T.
Shut up, fool!
No, it's Mr. T.
Shut up, fool!
No, Greg, I don't want it. It's definitely Mr. T.
Shut up, fool! It's really the only impression that I have of Mr. T. I don't know a whole lot else what he says. Face, I like your place.
Mr. T was I would say and this is somewhat common these days you see it in athletes and fighters, but Mr. T was the kind of the originator of the short mohawk. You had the long punk spiked mohawk, which was traditionally the mohawk, and Mr. T was I think the first guy with the short mohawk.
No, I believe he was right around I don't know. There were several before him. Directly before him was Mr. S and Mr. R.
Shut up, fool.
That was a god-awful joke. I apologize to all of the listeners for that.
I loved it. That's probably the best evidence that it was awful. 44 across. Bubblegum in 1906, for example. And that was the invention. So, was this the invention of gum, Greg?
No, it was the invention of bubblegum. There was gum. Yeah, gum came a long time before that. And then in 1906, there's we can make this pink stuff that you can blow bubbles.
But do you think people were blowing bubbles with the regular gum before that?
Nobody even thought to do it before this thing, man.
So this was a learning curve.
One person probably tried with some, you ever tried to blow bubbles with double mint? It's impossible. You get a tiny bubble and it's pathetic.
Yeah, that's true.
Juicy fruit? Juicy fruit makes a terrible bubble.
So do you think this came out and they had to sort of be like, hey guys, you can chew it like regular gum, but you gotta be blowing bubbles. It's in the name. You gotta blow the bubbles with this gum, and the people didn't know how or what was going on there.
There was the bubblegum company. The people they put on a series of clinics across the country where you could stop in and for free, and there was a demonstration. They gave you some gum, and sort of you had to teach people how to use the product before you could really sell the product en masse. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
And actually, it was from what I understand, a lot of actors back in that time. That's how they sort of supplemented their income was to teach people how to blow bubbles. In
It was just Well, I don't know who I was going to give
This
an
is
example.
this is a web of lies, is what this is.
Yeah, I was going to give an example, and then I realized, my roster of actors that I know from 1906 is pretty limited. It's
I think Sean
42
Connery
down,
was big.
and we got to move to Wednesday real quick. 42 down, put away for safekeeping. That's Stowe. And Greg, to me, I don't know how you feel about this. This might annoy you, but to me, one of life's great pleasures is when I'm in my seat on an airplane, my stuff is stowed, and there's just that guy trying to put something in an overhead bin that clearly does not fit in the overhead bin. And I can't get enough of that. He won't give up. He thinks it's going to fit.
Yeah. Yeah, it just takes a running start at it, turns it around several times, gets out a hammer. Yeah.
All right, let's check out Wednesday.
Yeah, we're behind, buddy. We are behind.
Okay, let's move, baby. Wednesday. This was Amanda Chung and Carl Nee. The theme was strong password. So something that required a letter, a number, and a special character. So you had 3 answers that had a letter, number, special character. 2% milk, iPhone 7 Plus, 1 Michelin star. Pretty good little Wednesday theme, I thought. Interesting theme. They did a good job with it. 39 across, Greg. Highly sought. This was part of the theme. Highly sought after restaurant rating, 1 Michelin star. Now, I always tell people, I always say, if you feel unqualified to do something, just remind yourself, the top restaurants in the world are determined by a tire company.
Yeah, that is true, huh?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Michelin is telling us who the very finest dining establishments are, and they make tires for cars. So anyone can do anything.
That's that like the how they rate wines.
Yes.
Yeah, that's if you get 1 liquid plumber star, you're one of the best wines.
That's Roto-Rooter guys are in on that.
Yeah.
That's good, man. I would like to do this, and I don't know if it's within my jurisdiction. Can I nominate a Bonefish Grill top crossword word?
Sure.
15 across, certain craft beer, for short, IPA.
I concur. Absolutely, man.
Yes.
They have been going to this a lot, man.
Heavy.
Nice one, Brendan. Yeah, they use IPAs all the time. And what's that? India Pale Ale? Is that what that stands for?
India Pale Ale, yeah. Yep.
Neither one of us drink, so really can't comment a whole lot on it.
No,
I don't think
they weren't much of a thing. I don't think.
Yeah, they were when I was drinking, but I never really got into them. I don't think.
Yeah. The type of beer I liked when I was drinking was 30. What, sir? Yeah, 30 of whatever you have 30 of is what I'll be taking.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the well once again with the Bonefish Hall of Fame word. 21 down, something waved at the Olympics. That's an epi, and they just love that word. Cruciverbalists, it's their favorite word. I'm going to put it above Oreo.
Yeah, that was, and I do believe that's already a member of the Hall of Fame, and there's no reason not to put it back in there because they've been slamming it these last few weeks.
We see it again, I believe. We see it again on the Saturday or Sunday puzzle, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just, as a crossword maker myself, I do know it's just a useful word because it's got 3
You
E's.
officially have been a crossword maker for, let's see, 39 minutes. You've been a crossword maker.
Well, it's got 3 E's, so it's
You
just
remind me of the
invaluable.
open micer comedian who's like, yeah, when I'm on the road. You started 2 days ago.
Now, this is a new segment that I'm introducing. We want to start. We want to start honoring these guys who make crossword puzzles for us because we enjoy them so much, and I think they deserve some credit. So this week, Amanda Chung and Carl Nee, they win the one down clue of the week.
What are you making scrambled eggs?
No, I
What are you doing?
Well, Greg,
That's no way to honor Amanda Chung and Carl Nee. What was that?
Can I tell you what happened? So I
can tell you what happened. I told you this would be a great new segment, and I want you to do it, and you get your own noisemaker. And what do you come up with? Making scrambled eggs.
I'm not making scrambled eggs. I'm rubbing the opening ends of 2 coffee cups together. But
yeah, that's it. You can't. I know household items. I said actually go out and purchase something. I have a horn. I have a bell, and I've got another one too that I'm going to use. I'm not even going to do it right now. But
here's what happened, man. I went to Walmart specifically to get a noisemaker to honor these people, and I was in the children's toys aisle for 39 minutes, pressing every button and shaking everything that made noise, and there was nothing good enough. So I've got to order something off the internet. But Greg, I put the time in.
I guarantee something was better than making scrambled eggs. That was terrible. I'm gonna just because I want to honor Amanda and Carl. I'm gonna use my new noisemaker. Go ahead and announce it.
This is the one down clue of the week. Man, I mean, that's not that much better.
It's way better.
It's not that much. It's better. It's better. I'll cede that it's better, but it's not that much better.
Actually, it's an instrument that I'm probably not playing the right way, so I can make it better, I think. But it's better than making scrambled eggs.
All right. Well, I will be getting a good instrument or noisemaker for the clue of the week. But the clue of the week is a segment where we wanted to take what we thought was a very elegant or clever clue, and 46 across, things often found near clover leaves. And that's motels. And I thought that was a great misdirect. You had to know that a clover leaf was what many highway interchanges look like. I thought it was just clean, clever, had a trick in it, but not a trick that was unfair. Beautiful clue, I thought. Beautiful clue.
I thought so too. And as two road comics, we've stayed in a lot of motels on nearby clover leaves.
Absolutely.
So, I thought it was. I thought it was a really, really good clue. I thought it was a horrible sound effect.
You want to know the worst part?
What's that?
I practiced.
You practiced that?
Yeah, I practiced I tried it a bunch of different ways. I was using different mugs. It was. I spent an hour practicing that noise.
Let's move to Thursday, man. I apologize to Amanda and Carl. It was a fantastic clue, and I would have liked to have honored you guys with a really nice sound effect. I still think mine's pretty good.
Yours is better. It's not great. It's like a crummy gong.
It is a crummy gong. It's a $16 gong.
That never mind. It's pretty good. Thursday, and we got to rip through this because we got to get to the ones where you triumphed big time. But Thursday was a Joel Fagliano, so he's moving up from the minis.
This is his third puzzle, thanks to our friend Rod Michigan's spreadsheet. This is his third puzzle. Now, of course, he's done thousands of puzzles, but they're the minis. But he's stepping up, and he put together kind of a cool puzzle. I felt a very, very easy Thursday, but a cool puzzle.
Cool construction, too easy for a Thursday. I finished this faster than Wednesday and Tuesday.
Definitely, you didn't finish it faster than
it was
Sunday
almost
because
in line with my Monday time. But basically, every single across clue comprised two answers. So, for example, one across was with 5 across, fiance, and 1 across and 5 across were wife to be. So every across clue was 2 answers, which I imagine was hard to construct, but unfortunately they were all really pretty easy. But, still a cool idea, a cool execution.
got to give a shout out to one of our listeners, and I apologize because it's a pretty tough name here, Cruzadista Pasatempos. He or she, I assume he, I don't know. They send me some notes on Facebook quite a bit on the Facebook page for a one down, and they are extremely competent crossword solver. But they said, "What a work of art this Thursday! Not that hard, but brilliant." So I concur. Yeah,
I think that's right. I think that's right. It's not that hard. It's very simple, but I imagine was very difficult to construct. And that's the kind of thing I know as a guy who makes crossword puzzles is you got to take that into account. These are difficult things to pull off. And
you haven't made one yet. It's
a brotherhood, really, amongst us. Where only we can kind of understand the beauty in something like this. But 7 down, Greg. $100 bills in slang, bends.
Yeah, that's it's not a thing, man.
Nope, that is nobody. Nope, not a thing.
My favorite
rappers
movie
called
back in
them
the,
Benjamins for a time.
Yeah, I love that. I love that movie, all about the bends.
Yeah. The bends is what you get when you scuba dive for too long.
Where was I going? 10 down. Items set up in agility drills. Those are cones. Brendan, your dad was an accomplished soccer coach. Did he use cones?
Oh yeah. We used the cones, and the worst was when we used the cones for like the shuttle runs. Because the cones, just setting them up as goals or as to dribbling out in and out of, that's fine. But when you saw him setting them up in kind of a pattern from the touch line, you knew you were going to be doing sprints back and forth to cones, and that was brutal.
We used to do shuttle runs on the wrestling team in college. Our coach would take us out to the airport and he'd get one of those shuttle drivers to drive behind us, and he said, if you don't run fast enough, he's going to hit you and kill you.
That he must have had to deal with the union. It's tough to get in there onto the. This was pre 9/11, I guess, so they let you on the tarmac. But cones, Greg, remarkable objects, really. The greatest strength to size ratio of any object, because you could a tiny, flimsy little piece of orange plastic can stop a semi-truck. And that's pretty amazing.
That is true.
You throw a cone in the middle of the road. Doesn't matter who you are. You don't have to work for anyone. You just put one cone down, and everyone can't go down that road. Cone. So you see the cone? No, can't pass that.
Yeah,
Cannot go
that's
past
true,
that.
Man. Yeah, people respect cones. They really do.
Yeah.
I know this is crazy, but wait a minute. I got to talk about this one. 29 down. Holder of toothbrush, toothpaste, comb, etc. The answer is toilet bag. No. It's called a toiletry bag or a shaving kit or a dop kit. It's not a toilet bag. That sounds disgusting.
No one has ever called it a toilet bag, and if someone did, you would be suspect of them.
Yes. Yeah, I got my toilet bag.
It would be like when a guy describes an encounter with a woman, and you're like, Oh, he's never been with a woman before.
Yeah.
That if someone says toilet bag, you got to see if you can peel their skin off because they might be an alien. That has a sort of grasp on our language, but not really.
That's a really good tip, Brendan. That's a great tip. You want to repeat that?
If someone says toilet bag, try and peel their skin off. Let's hit Friday. And I should asterisk. Nobody try and peel anyone's skin off. This was a Claire Rinkus and Eric Agard.
Agard. I don't think he usually works with other people.
No, he's mostly a solo artist. This is interesting. This is very interesting. I liked this puzzle. No theme.
It was hard.
It was a hard puzzle.
I got beat on 31. I didn't get beat, but I almost got beat on 31 across. Like some monogrammed towels. The answer was his and his, and I guess I'm an ignorant person. It's because I kept trying to shove in his and her because that's the larger society sees a couple as, and they got me. I think that's exactly what they were trying to do, is get me on that, and they tricked me and probably taught me a lesson about myself. But I finally got it. I did get it.
I don't know. Here's the thing, Greg. Here's the thing. I thought this was a bit of like just them kind of trying to show how progressive they are, because I know plenty of gay couples, and I don't think his and his towels are a thing, like a phrase. Do you know what I mean? Like I've never heard that. I've never heard.
No, they probably, but I mean, there are probably some gay couples that have both men have monogram towels, but they don't say his on them, and because there are like some towels where it actually says his and hers, right?
Right, and it's also a known phrase. Like his and his doesn't help you because you don't know which his is his. They're both his.
Yeah. That's a good point. Well, but if they're monogrammed, it
right,
would be,
right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
anyways, it
I don't
me
think
an hour
you should.
40.
I don't think this reflects poorly on you at all. I think this was a bit of kind of shoving their progressiveness, trying too hard to show us their progressiveness, because I don't think that's really a phrase. But
I would say half that. I agree with you. Half that, but also a bit of just normal crossword trickery.
Sure, true. One down, diplomatic gift from China, and we got to move because we are behind. Me and you, we get to talking and we're having a blast. But
well, you learn stuff about skin and aliens. And
one down, diplomatic gift from China. That's panda. That's the problem, Greg. These guys, they control the panda supply. Okay, they're the most. Everyone knows they're the cutest bears. Koala's close, but there's a lot of koalas.
Not a bear, Brendan. It's a marsupial.
Oh, okay. Well, it's called a koala bear, but yeah. So it's a misnomer. But so then, definitely pandas are the cutest bear. China controls them. There's only about 17 of them, and they're leasing them out. This diplomatic gift is not true. They're lending them, and they're holding it over everyone's head. You want a panda in the San Diego Zoo? We're going to need some sort of, you're going to need to grease us a little bit. You want to get your hands on these pandas. That's how every trade deal with China has worked out.
We send them back when I believe in order to get a panda. Usually, we send them back some alligator gar fish.
Which is not cuteness wise a very uneven trade.
Yeah,
very uneven trade.
It is. 33 across, 1980s, 90s series set in California. Brendan, that is L.A. law, and. I know your dad's a lawyer, but everything I know about the legal system I learned from L.A. law. And I can tell you just a couple of things. If you work in a law firm, there's a lot of fooling around. a lot of fooling around between coworkers, even sometimes with the clients, which you're not supposed to do, but that happens. I'll tell you another thing, Brendan. A lot of extremely attractive people that work in law firms.
Yeah, I mean, I guess LA law was a little bit before my time, but that sounds about right. And so you're, hopefully you never are involved in a legal battle because you're just going to be expecting, tomfoolery with your representation and all sorts of drama.
I want to be in a legal battle. I want to be around some of these hot people. Yeah. We got to move to Saturday, man.
We will move on, but my
nope, gotta move.
My entire legal knowledge is based on my dad being a lawyer. So my knowledge of the legal system is that when a lot of times when lawyers come home, they yell at you. Every time they come home and they yell at you. That's the law system. Anyway, Saturday was an Adam Aronson and Paulo Pasco.
I know we've worked with Paulo before.
Yeah, definitely. I think we had Aronson once. The problem is, and I'll get this sorted out, I want to have Rod's spreadsheet pulled up while we're doing this, and I don't currently. But no theme, but kind of a cool little semi-theme where they had, in the upper left, they had Mike Krzyzewski, the Duke coach, which, as you know, is spelled with a K and an R and a Z and a Y and another Z. It's all over the place. And then in the lower right, they had another word spelled with similar letters, similar length, and that's Kyrgyzstan. I looked it up how it's pronounced. Kyrgyzstan. So they did kind of cap the puzzle in the upper left and lower right with two very similar, hard to pronounce K words with Z's in them. So that was cool.
I thought that was really cool. I'd like to nominate a clue for our clever clue of the week. And I know that you're the sort of the custodian of this clue, but I think 58 across, certain red, or in another context, something associated with the color yellow. The answer is cab, as in short for Cabernet, or a yellow taxi cab. What do you think, Brendan?
I think, are you able to hit the gong for a shorter period of time?
No, turns out.
Okay, well, because I'd like to give Adam and Paulo the runner-up for the clue of the week, because I did consider this clue. I do think it's a great clue. I think it's a little bit easier than Carl and Amanda's clue.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't quite reach the level of elegance, but I think they're right there on the podium, and they do receive a clue of the week. But if we did give out medals, which we don't, theirs would be a silver.
And if we gave out medals for the crossword puzzle, completing the crossword puzzle, I would get a gold and you would get a silver this week.
Yep. This don't think that I will forget your behavior this week, Greg. When I finish every week and you don't. Don't think this will go.
I don't think you're going to forget
unnoticed.
My behavior. A lot of people think you're going to forget how to solve a crossword puzzle.
Stop that. You know I'm yip prone, man. I'm yip prone.
Yip.
Well, let's talk about the one that you killed, man. Let's get into it, because you killed it. And first of all, it was David Levinson Wilk did the Sunday. Great.
Never heard of him.
Go ahead.
I never heard of him.
I don't think we've worked with him.
I love him now. He's the man.
He put together a fantastic puzzle. It was the theme was great. The title of the puzzle was Puzzlin'. No G on the end. Basically, they took common phrases where if you removed the G from the end of one word, making it sort of a slang with just an N, and put that G at the beginning of the next, it made a different phrase. So they took standing room only and made it into standing groom only, and they had kind of clever clues to get you to those, and they did that with 5 clues. And man, I thought the theme was fantastic. Fantastic.
Really, really cool. Yeah, really, really, really cool. I thought that. Now, I mean, I'm a little bit biased because this is the puzzle that turned me into a legend and turned you into a failure. But I thought it was a really cool puzzle.
I mean, failure, Greg. When you go 6 or 7, I say good work.
I know, but I'm not as gifted as you are.
Okay, there we go. That's the sound clip. Somebody cut that out and frame it. You know where I busted out, man, and this is an example of being so sure you're right and just refusing, even though you know you're wrong in that area, refusing to accept other options. 37 down, sure winners. My entire life, Greg, I just thought that phrase was shoe-ins, as in SHOEINS, and I refused, even though it screwed me up, and I knew row didn't make sense with an E at the front. I just refused. My brain just said that part is definitely correct. There's no question about that. That's just how it is. And it turns out it's SHOO-ins, and I had no idea.
Well, I mean, they like to use the word or a lot in crossword puzzles.
I know, and I should have got it because or was what was across from where I had an E, and the clue was row, and so I should have got it, but I think they call it cognitive dissonance when you're so sure that something's right, you refuse to even consider alternate options. And I was so sure that was right. I was like, well, there must be some crazy answer for row. There must be some weird answer for row. Instead
like a
of
fight, like a row. Yeah. A row. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
11 down.
It was dumb of me.
11 down. What's the Frequency Kenneth band? That's REM.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Brendan, you know my buddy Troy Strawhecker in Des Moines, Iowa, right?
Yeah, I met Troy several times, and he's been just nothing but a gem to me. Super
great
nice
guy. Yeah, really, really funny guy, talented guy, great guy, awesome family. And I've known Troy for probably 30 years, and Troy told me this is going probably about 15 years ago. Troy told me that what's the Frequency, Kenneth? That came from, he said, during the Iraq War. I think it might have been the first Gulf War. Tom Brokaw was reporting, and he was trying to I communicate with somebody on the other side in NBC News, and he kept saying, "Kenneth, what's the frequency? Kenneth, what's the frequency? What's the frequency, Kenneth? What's the frequency?" And then REM made a really cool song out of it. And I went around. It was a good story, right? Isn't that a good story?
It's a great story.
Yeah, so I ran and I told people that story for about 14 years, and then for some reason I looked it up, and that's not at all where that came from. That's not even close to where that came from. Where it came from, where it came from is there was a paranoid schizophrenic guy that thought that CBS was tapping into his brain, and he saw Dan Rather on the street one day in New York and attacked him and beat him up and kept saying, "What's the frequency, Kenneth? What's the frequency? What's the frequency, Kenneth? What's the frequency?" And they didn't catch this guy until years later. I think he shot somebody from CBS.
Oh, geez.
And the guy was sick, and he also sort of brought up that he had. I don't know if he told them. They found out he was also the guy that had attacked Dan Rather. But I went around and told people, and I told it with an air of arrogance that I knew something that they didn't know. I told them the Tom Brokaw story, and Troy told me he heard it from somebody else. So
well, and you have to also take into account, because that's an interesting fact, and that's a fun fact to tell people. That over 14 years,
I don't think it's fun, really.
the spread of that just from you telling people and them.
I know, and
telling
it's not
people.
my fault. It's Troy and this guy that told Troy. Troy didn't even know who told him. But yeah, Troy misguided a lot of people.
Yeah, there's half the country now has the wrong story on what's the frequency, Kenneth.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure who told Troy. I think it was one of the guys from REM. I'm not sure.
Dan Rather always very calm and collected under fire. Do you think as he was getting pummeled, he just said, "My name is Dan, sir, and I don't know the frequency. I am not Kenneth, gentlemen."
That was a terrible Dan Rather impression.
I don't know how to do a Dan. I was just trying to do a newscaster voice, frankly. Well, give me a Dan Rather.
I didn't claim to know how to do Dan Rather.
I don't know how to do Dan Rather either. We don't know how to do Dan Rather on this. Now, I did have one quibble.
I'll tell you what I can do.
What can you do?
Shut up, fool.
I can do a Michael Caine. Not
No,
really.
you can't. You've done that before on this podcast. It's not
Why do we fall down, Master White? To get up again.
Yeah, that sounded like C-3PO.
Why do we fall down, Master White?
Stay down.
I can't do anything. And I do have one quibble here, Greg. 80 down. Soft and wet. The answer is squishy. And actually, that was the key to getting...
Completely the key.
Yeah.
Well, to me, getting the puzzle. To you, it was the key to you not getting the puzzle.
Well, it was
Or
the key
almost
to me
the-
getting that bottom left corner, which was difficult.
Very difficult.
But I would argue, and tell me what you think, squishy does not necessarily imply wet.
No, I think it's a good clue.
Really? Because I think there are plenty of squishy things that aren't wet. You know, like a children's those balls that are very soft and they kind of you can squish them in. That's squishy. That's not wet.
All right. I see where you're at here. Yeah.
Still, I'm not playing it under an asterisk. I got squishy, so I can't complain.
No, I
but
see what you're doing here. You're trying to plant a seed of doubt, and you feel ashamed that you didn't get this puzzle. And
I
you
don't feel
ashamed,
ashamed.
and you're looking for a reason for why you didn't, and you're trying to blame a guy that put together a beautiful puzzle. I mean, David Levinson Wilk did a nice job here, and you're trying to, plant a seed of doubt. And
I told you the reason I didn't get it already. It had nothing to do with squishy. I got squishy.
yeah, you said the reason, and then you started making excuses.
I mean, I'm making Oh, man, this will go down. I am making notes on this. I am remembering this. You will pay.
Two things that I know that you don't do well: make notes and remember.
Oh, God, man. All right. Well, you are the superior crossword guy for the week, so take us out, Greg. Go ahead. Let me see how good you are
I
at
gotta take
that.
us out too.
Yeah. Go
This
ahead.
has been One Down, the comedy crossword podcast. We really appreciate you listening, especially to this episode. It's a very special episode.
It's not special.
It's extremely special.
It's a normal episode.
It is a normal episode. It's one of those episodes where I beat Brendan, and it's just a thing.
Abnormal
that's
in
probably
that
gonna
aspect.
If you could, this actually really helps out. I think we're gaining momentum on it. I can feel it. We're gaining a lot of momentum on this podcast. If you could take a second and just review and rate us on iTunes, it really helps. But thanks to everybody for listening. We really have enjoyed talking to you especially enjoyed this week. I mean, it's a marquee week. It's a marquee episode, and we've taken a lot of joy in it. And this has been One Down.
One Down is hosted by Greg Warren and Brendan Eyre. Produced and edited by John Baldwin. Our theme song is written and performed by Henry Phillips. Executive producers Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcast.
One down the comedy crossword